Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I have a special guest here with us today, Miguel Rebello, who's a freelance writer, and he recently wrote an article for Zapier breaking down different scheduling tools and the best use cases for each. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Hello. Hi.
As you evaluated the entire landscape of scheduling tools, you highlighted this traditional calendar links where you open up a schedule of someone and you see what the availability is and different flavors of that, and calendar AI. Could you tell us the difference?
So there's actually a misconception in the calendar world. Let's put it like that. There are many sources online that will tell you, for example, that Calendly has AI features. I reached out to their product team and they actually don't. So the fact that you have this user experience that makes it easy to schedule meetings makes it look like there are smart features or there's AI at work. But in fact, there's actually no AI. It's just a set of well-programmed rules and a good user experience that people go through to schedule time with one another. The thing with AI is that it actually looks at the data, it looks at your schedule, it trains on that, and it is able to find the best times based on that data, not based on pre-programmed rules that a developer put in place and not based on rules that you have to set up in the app itself. So that was a very important distinction to make between the smart calendars, which have a good product and have a good user experience, and AI calendars, which are actually basing themselves on the data and delivering results based on that.
Are there other AI components besides picking a time and offering a time up?
It can identify, for example, patterns of when you are busy and compare that with the patterns with another person's busy schedule and find the blocks in between. I haven't had the opportunity to look at the technical details of this because this, of course, is a part of the secret juice of each app. But yeah, I think the most exciting thing about AI right now is discovering what kinds of data you can use to build an engine that picks up on more context, that is able to provide a better experience and basically do more things for you.
So in that article, you identified Kronologic as the best scheduling tool for following up on leads and sales and marketing motions. What made you put us in that category?
Yeah, so first this starts with a very vivid pain point that I have. And thinking from the sales team's perspective, they have to handle probably hundreds or thousands of leads. Just being on this dance of the back and forth with each and every one of them, something that takes a lot of time. It's rote work that doesn't really push you closer to your objective. And it's very demotivating to have to send sometimes 3-4 emails and then call, and then the person can't reply now, and they might even reply in a very impatient way because you caught them at the bad time. And Kronologic focuses on this very specific pain point and solves it very, very well, because I remember that when I was scheduling a demo with you, it was easy as that. I just got an email with the date and time. I looked at that and it worked for me. If it didn't, I could have just sent an email and things would still be game. And yeah, and I was there at the date and time, and things happened without phone calls in the middle of the night, without confusion, without the back and forth. For me, as someone who deals with the companies and the sales teams, it's very good. So you provide a good customer experience. And I imagine that for sales teams, it's much more motivating, and it actually drives you closer to the objectives, right?
Yeah. So when you fill out that form, just to clarify, an email and an invite were both sent to you. So the invite was sent to you for a proposed time because you had filled out a form to hold a meeting, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
But one part of our AI that we really love is the natural language processing. So say you did email back and say, could you actually move this to 8 a.m. instead? It would have automatically updated that invite to 8 a.m. on behalf of the rep. So with our AI, there's a back end part of it that does eliminate that back and forth if back and forth is needed. Have you seen anything else like that in these scheduling tools that match that capability?
You can do it, but only with a rule-based system. And that's why AI is so good. You don't have to create these deterministic rules. You can just get the AI to figure out what's the time and to use your own system to get it booked at the right time without having to iterate this process of rule building for months until you have like everything perfect and you've covered every single use case.
And heaven forbid you have to change something in those workflows, like with marketing automation, make one little timing adjustment and it becomes a mess. So I really like how ours is just turned on in the background and monitoring your invites for people who are trying to select a new time or offer a new time. So that's fantastic to hear that. Where are you seeing the benefits with a automation tool that uses AI the way Kronologic does versus just a standard scheduling link when following up on a group of leads?
Yeah, so I'm thinking of two things here. The first one is that, and you will correct me if I'm wrong, but Kronologic lets you add your entire team and balances their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
This is right? So basically, every new lead that comes in, it gets assigned to the team member that has a slot. And I remember you can also assign by topic, right? So you can forward it to the sales rep that is better equipped to talk about the topic. Is this right?
That's correct. It can also look back to your CRM, say at Salesforce, and if there's an assigned person, that can actually override the assignment of the meeting to that person.
Yeah, so that is the first one. So Kronologic can give out the cards to everyone in your sales team and keep everyone with the same workload and keep your leads moving forward through the pipeline. The second one, and this is one that I haven't personally had any experience, but I can imagine the pain, is when you have to follow up on 200 or 300 people. And planning this is like, okay, we're going to start this list slow and spread this out over weeks or months and wait for everyone to reply and say if they can, or follow up the number of times until they don't answer at all, and just lose a lot of opportunities because there's no fast way to get to 200 or 300 people. And what I think is really good about the Kronologic AI engine is that you can fire out an invite to all these people at the same time and just box this contact wave in a week. Because there's such a thing as conversion rates, not everyone is going to say yes 100% of the time. You will have all those slots booked, and the people who don't want to come or can't come, they won't mess up with your schedule. So you'll still be able to follow up on a lot of opportunities, especially if it's a time-sensitive thing after a trade show or after an in-person event. So yeah, you can keep your finger on the pulse, you can reach out faster, and speed is very important for sales. So if you're there and your competitors are not there while the lead is still warm, there's a much better chance that you're actually going to close that relationship, and it's going to be a closed one, right?
Yeah, and that's great that you picked up on that. Taking the event use case as an example here, what we do is basically have the invite version where it sends the invite and the email set up as just a link for the rep to use for in the booth, where it just auto-populates a simple one-field form to schedule a meeting. And if you're in that really great discussion and someone says, yep, let's continue this when we get back from the show with a follow-up call so I can see a customized demo, you got that verbal approval. So you can then just verbally ask for their email, open up that tab on your phone, enter it in, hit submit, refresh the screen, and you're on to your next really high value conversation in the expo hall scenario. Then you walk off the trade show floor knowing that all your leads from your best conversations are already on the calendar or in the scheduling process. The second thing that you talked about was where you have, say, the other badge scans that are probably the right ICP because you're at a trade show. They're probably in a scenario where they are interested because they did stop by your booth, hopefully for more than just the stuffed animal swag that you're giving away.
The swag.
But you can narrow that list down and say, okay, these are the warm leads from the show, and we can send out a Kronologic email, which basically embeds the proposed time at the top of the email message and send that out to everyone. But the important piece that you keyed in on is it will offer times only within the week to 2 weeks after the show, and it won't actually put it on the rep's calendar until they accept it. That way you're not being too assertive with someone who maybe had light interest, but you're still condensing the follow-up period and controlling that within the template, because if you follow up with them or offer a time to meet that's more than 1 or 2 weeks out, most likely that time or that conversation is going to be very cold, or there's an increase of chance that they no-show. So just double downing on what you've seen on that methodology versus other methodologies with these scheduling tools.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any comparable features in other tools that I tested. So yeah, so this is really unique, and it's really valuable, especially because of this.